Momayan bought John Mahama and some kind with the office 120 days. Ordinary assembly. The most interesting thing about the John Mahama can say. In some John Mahama can end about 120 days. Nobody in Ghana was able to come out to say John Mahama boa with facts. Nobody could do that. And that shows a banya and our president or kanukre udinukre. On the NPP for Kasa Bibre, you could not hear say only the one document we have said John Mahama state fact way or state statement way, sade way or bois. Domo ya nyina say Muslim kan we antiasie ene de enko bebia say John Mahama kan sembi na asem na John Mahama kan no wo engyina so e kire say oboa no akofa aba engyina so ni ho eni ntina de bia ma kacha Ghana for say se ekipi MP NDC for 42 years our destiny will be intact. Momia go tie John Mahama in some kind na mdwom ni nyina e wotwi mu COVID-19 o kan ho asem.
This war against corruption continues unabated. The Minister for Health is reviewing the Auditor General's report on the COVID-19 expenditures. After the review, the appropriate actions will be taken. The Sputnik V scandal is under investigation. The Minister for Finance has launched an inquiry into the collapse of indigenous banks and financial institutions. And make no mistakes, facts will be unearthed, culprits will be punished, and lessons will be learned. The Minister for Energy and Green Transition has commenced investigations into the PDS scandal. Deloitte & Touche is conducting an independent audit of the National Cathedral project. I expect their report by the end of this month. A number of officials have been invited and questioned concerning the 13th African Games. On April 30th, 2025, the Attorney General filed 11 charges against a former National Signals Bureau Director General and others for various offenses. Charges will also be filed in the Accra SkyTrain and the National Service Ghost Name scandals. The Office of the Presidential Advisor on Corruption will continue to receive complaints and reports regarding graft for onward transmission to the Attorney General, building on the success of the oral mechanism, which received over 2,000 complaints in just a few weeks. As promised, my commitment to fighting corruption is not limited to recovering loot from past appointees. We will also ensure that our own appointees serve Ghanaians responsibly and are held to the highest standards of accountability.
Bro, for me boy, President John Dramani Mahama Kenyina Mamindjum na ti de okan enra ni nyina ase. We di president 120 days yekekamwa bosomi 9 na emra kire anase efe se president ebe ba ka kire Ghana for bosomi 9 dwuma we di ene de ekoso ene de sebio oman no yenya ho mfaso ene de da yenim. John Dramani Mahama oye president of Ghana enra odi etu Ghana for nyina enim insani bi okan e bi nie ose we di 4 months wa ban mu we ni nyoma bi a omaya sebio Ghana fo ni tua sebio ye nyina ye boa ma ye hyemu kena ebema Ghana anya ne ntoma pa efra ama ye gina ye na so one ose oshebo e wo position say COVID-19 sika enkofo di ye especially eye former health minister eye Ajimamenu okọ sign a contract bi e fe no eye the Sputnik eye vaccine Sputnik eye vaccine bi na oni company bi eye ekọ sign contract sika twintwire bet over $13 million. Omofadi, you know. John Dramani Mahama Shebo opposition say, be investigations into that matter. Or say, on the health minister Nakasa and Attorney General investigations no be and there ya tutu ni pebiano enche yedi omo ebeko court. Ebo a share Ghana for John Mahama with di sa ebonoso. Osaka bibi fa eye banks a yegugu no Ghana. Also, share Ghana football. So, obedi president obe make sure be investigations and our police for be hwehwem na nipa bi ya frɛ omo atoto omo no na ehu omo mu di Ghana bone eba banks a sebi ekufo ade be di abamu oni ofori atamo ehye etutu mu ema nipa bi wuye omo dwuma seye a sike bi koke ma yentua John Mahama ene Ghana focus also we di eye de oban we so eye bosome 9 na de obetuma ka che Ghana fo a osimu pi ene say wama eye IGP Attorney General omu nyina eba eye banks a ye close ye na ye bie eye investigations a ende ye no ka say na na danko ekufor the MPP for no omo sa aban mu a omu di ntintiman emiegu banks no ye toto omu nyina no omo mbeko adwe mu no ye beche omo de omo ko gina court na asotwe bia wo ho bia no ye de amomo John Mahama e kasa no o say oba energy sebio ɔse the energy minister no ɔmo ebie investigations ta and the PDS sebio bidi mutintiman manyonko a yefrɛ no Larry Dogbe a ɔtwerɛ Herald newspaper yedi mutintiman ka etibo ma sebio yedi no kore no ebre mu a me ball gabi tape na ɔmo check Ghana electricity sika Nana do Danko Kufuado, Bawumia, Oforiata, and it bumped him eka mutribo omubu Ghana sika over $500 million, no. John Mahama said Ghana for boss say PDS no Obama ye be investigations na omo beka adwemu no ana omo ahoma no be so monai no yani omo akogina court atwe so o say eno so no investigations no omo bia dwumadie no ekoso a ye toto nkofo bi ano ewo edien aban mu a enche ye de omo nyina di betudwa na attorney general no de wo so ye no waye e de omo akogina court. Now, I see Ghana football say to ababa na within 90 days to 120 days no obey national cathedral no ho adwuma or say in pense muni hwehwemu no ekoso and atoto nipa bebre no ye bie investigations ewo omo a omo di enim ema Ghana especially sika $58 million pay sasika na share omo betu amena no o say company be afraid Deloitte omo na ye de dwumadie ni hwehwemu no amomo John Mahama say bosumu enko awie no na omo di dwumadie omo di eni nyina abekire no hwehwemu omo ye omo mu wie sika omo de kasoko bo omo ko a omo fa kuti kwan so wie te say de kusibu aten ene omo anomo da board ne so nyina no ye say investigations no Deloitte for hwehwem enti John Mahama akache Ghana for say eno so investigations ni ebie ema sebio by the end of the month no company a omo yes adwuma no hwehwemu no they from Deloitte omo ene de de no omo na omo de nsam ne beba na ejina so ebu nkofo bi aten ho court. Now omo say na nsen John Mahama ka kire Ghana for ye bibia for the 13th African Games and kabema athletics any ade ye na nsen enche ye no won kran emu ne behu say ofori bedi etuo yire enya $50 million to pay to serve food for 15 days. Or say 20 days amodema no 4 months no and also omo be investigations met me crack can esipsupi say the former sports minister no NIB office wakobe 15 times wakoko bonkofo din ehye no ho onka bibia I can say on authority said the former sports minister he has been invited no less than 13 times our NIB office or leaky information about parliament and our din Obetana TV so anwa edin woka nukura ewo nyina because one kan obeko jail nti eno so John Mahama ka kire Ghana for say 13th African Games no so eno so investigations no omo bia impense mu koso hwehwemu koso a enche attorney general enso edina no aseba beto omo a ewo so mko gina court na yebu omo for eno so ewo sansem ni mu osaka bibi kan national service scandal a ghost names Anana B oni gifty achichide oba sabema no omoso ebu Ghana for afaso no John Dramani Mahama say eno so no attorney general edin kan ka kire say enche omo de allegations a omonyafa omo di mutintiman ebu Ghana sika ewiaye national service sika sem no John Mahama say 120 days no obetumi esiribo aka kire Ghana for say sa adwuma de ne koso nhwehwemu ne koso attorney general be na wotwe ba ko adi enim no ode ehon sem beba ema omo a omo fa koti kwan so edi Ghana sika no omo nso yebedi omkwa ko gina court na yatwe omo nso aso John Mahama kan brofo no okan bibi efa bibi efa no oral ene den ono so ka say enye se ebia omo abandadere mu a omo bo kro no nko na MDC aban ehwehwe omo nsemu o se okan simu pi 4 months amode share nse ana 120 days yi omo so omo na aban mu a sebio omo amagye so bokro no wama attorney general instruction say omo na ni nko omo ho se obi ebokro no ewa aban we mu a wama attorney general no blessing o se obi a obekye no investigations bekye no CID bekye no ewo say ye de ko gina court se ne yebu Ekufuado ene ne nkwara no efo no ewo so omo so no embra no ene omudi we ena na John Dramani Mahama edwudwem ema Ghana for ehu 120 days a obedi no aban mu no wabedi no aban mu no de waye osaka
As promised, my commitment to fighting corruption is not limited to recovering loot from past appointees. We will also ensure that our own appointees serve Ghanaians responsibly and are held to the highest standards of accountability. To reinforce public trust and ensure equitable access to state resources, I pledge to implement a government policy prohibiting political appointees from purchasing state assets. Reports of former officials acquiring public properties after regime changes have eroded public trust, particularly the alarming surge under the previous administration. In response, our policy prohibits all political appointees state assets. Reports, I pledge to implement a government policy prohibiting political appointees from purchasing state assets. Reports of former officials acquiring public properties after regime changes have eroded public trust, particularly the alarming surge under the previous administration. In response, our policy prohibits all political appointees, their assigns, and closely associated persons from purchasing state assets. Section 5B of the Code of Conduct provides a clear sanction, immediate termination of appointment if an appointee is found to be in the process or has purchased any state asset directly or indirectly.
Mahama ekasa 120 days within the office 4 months no say na aban ahyemra say aban mu nipa sebio omo ye adwuma ma aban sebio omo hu nipa omo ban omo te se omo mma omo yerenom sebio nipa omo ka omo busua ho no obia ne ho kwan se obeto aban agapade including ono ankasa ono ontumi to aban agapade ne mma entumi to aban agapade ne yere entumi to aban agapade enti o say eye 4 months wa hyemra code of conduct no ewom appointee bia ni wo owo NDC abema ohye ono John Mahama asia owo se owo saa 2 minutes obeto eye de aban agapade no political appointee past or present obia ni saa kwan ne se obetumi ato eye ye ne Ghana ye japade bia enti ose saa mra no so wahye a emra no agina ho kentin a ebo Ghana ejapade ho ban adekudie nje oso ye saa de ne se ompese nipa bi benya tumi na omode omutumi no etietia Ghana fofa ahodie so ewia Ghana ejapade ade ababa ye omode na omufri politics mu a omne omobusuafo kwa ankodi enti ose wasete emra na to 4 months edition nsei eho akuntabuo na obu a kyerem no ose aban hu nipa bia ni ho no political appointee obia ni hu tumi se oto eyedien aban ejapade sebio ono ankasa ne ba entumi nto ne yere entumi nto ne ba girlfriend entumi nto ne ba yere entumi nto saa na appointee bia so ehu nipa ne yere ne ba yere ne ba nua ne obia entumi nto eyedien eye aban ejapade eye emra wa hya sebio awose Ghana fo nyina yedi so we eka eye 120 days djuma wedi a ene eye ban a wabo Ghana ejapade ho ban John Mahama ekasafa eye galamsey ho.
We promise to ban illegal and new mining activities in forest reserves and roll out our Tree for Life and Blue Water initiatives to heal and sustainably harness our environment. In the first 120 days, we've taken decisive action through a 5-pronged strategy to overhaul and sanitize the mining sector. This includes regulatory reforms and strengthening the law enforcement, including joint task forces, arrests and seizures of mining equipment, stakeholder collaboration, reclamation of degraded lands. 7 out of 9 forest reserves have been reclaimed. Illegal miners have been flushed out of these forest reserves. Concerning the ban on mining in forest reserves, on March 20th, 2025, a legislative instrument, LI 2462, was presented to Parliament to amend the Environmental Protection Mining in Forest Reserves Regulation. This amendment removes the President's power to grant approval for mining in forest reserves. I plan also to amend the Minerals and Mining Act 2003, Act 703, to completely prohibit mining in forest reserves. This would effectively, meticulously, legally, and entirely ban mining in our forest reserves. We promise to ban illegal and new mining activities in forest.
John Mahama, President Ekasano, oka bibi fa illegal mining ene yekwaya sebio nipebi afakuti kwanso etu yensase etu yensuo etu yenua etugu. O say 120 days on man o shembra bi opposition sambra no ende omo edi hu dwuma a sene be ya nipebi ya entumi enkoye mining ewo yekwaya kasiem. Oni yekasei o say osisu pi se ene yekasei yekwaya beye enkono a na galamsey chema untumi ketijemfu a Samuel Wuku eye kojo ponkroma ene eye gabi ochidakomo eye galamsey dididididi wo mu no emu enkono no omotumi yimu enso a omako age through the minister ohwe nsase ene egudie hu nsam so no o say ende just 4 months no eye kwaye beye nkono ana chema wontumi gum ene MPP fo gum ketijemfo amo eye galamse etu yen sase ese yen kwaye no within 4 months amode man of 120 days no omo tumagim emu nko anson aka mienu omo di hu dwuma so obobeje na sebio eye emra eye LI 2462 eye emra oshebo e position say obe make sure samra no ya sakrem ema nipa bi entumi enko eyeden ye kwayem enkotu egudie ote samra no sebio eye parliament esa eba samra no ye begina so ahye ema na ye eyeden tentan se ne be ya ono president kura no ontumi kan kire obi ase obetumi de tumi ama obi se onko kwayem enkotu eye egudie ose illegal or even normal miners no sa emra no ebehye obi ase obia entumi fa excavator efa machine enkosi kwayem se okwakoye eye galamse indi samra no ye mra in 120 days amodema no omahye wia parliament betenasia omobe sakra eye de ensamnim ana samra nim ama sebio abebo Ghana eye den eye ye kwaye ye nsuo eni sebio ye kwaye brebrenu nkasamu na ya chichire ye man ye into 120 days in 4 months odema no jumadi a wedi a sebio ebo a ohye opposition no sa jumadi we nyina no ebo a ohye we nyina no wedi so a okamu nsem akire John Dramani Mahama president e can be for 24-hour economy no.
One of our signature policies for job creation and economic transformation is the 24-hour economy policy. We promise to commence drafting the needed legal amendments and prepare for its implementation within the first 120 days. The program is designed to drive structural transformation across our economy, built on pillars aimed at revamping key sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, and tourism. The program rollout has commenced in earnest. The 24-hour Secretariat is collaborating with the Development Bank of Ghana and the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund to operationalize financing pillars for this program. Cabinet has approved amendments to the Ghana Investment Promotion Center Act and the Labour Act to include specific clauses regarding 24-hour operations. These amendments aim to enhance social protection, create an enabling environment for the 24-hour economy policy, and promote conducive business and labor relations. Already several businesses are lining up to sign on to this policy. Some tangible actions have also been taken. The Ghana Investment Promotion Center has launched 24-hour premium services to eliminate processing delays for investors. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has launched a 24-hour passport service with the passport application headquarters operating 24/7. The DVLA used a 24-hour service to clear a long-standing 18 months backlog of licenses and will soon commission a new 24-hour service office at Adenta in Accra. The Youth Employment Agency is set to launch the Graduates in Corporate Support GRICS program, which will attach graduates to firms operating 24 hours a day. This program is targeting 20,000 graduates. The YEA is also partnering with security agencies, the fire, police, immigration services, to provide security for 24-hour firms and is working towards training and deploying 23,000 recruits for this purpose. Recognizing the need for robust security, the police service is establishing a 24-hour police unit to improve 9 patrols and utilize technology supported by nationwide sensitization. The Minister of Energy and Green Transition is engaging the PURC to set up smart metering with a time of use tariff, charging a lesser tariff during the off-peak hours, a direct incentive for enterprises on the 24-hour economy policy.
President John Dramani Mahama ekasa endra na oka bibi for 24-hour economy policy na oka ho asem in opposition o say ono mo kasa ndey ye nyina ni tua ena sebio eye enkrata ene sebio evidence wo ho eye 24-hour economy policy no sebio enkrata sebio ebe managina na so a enya eye de nsan nyina so na ebetuma ye adwuma no ende John Mahama sa eye nipakuo no yaka omo nyina tia boma omatena se a omo ka sa krata na bom na no krampo no o say eno krampo na omo ye no also make sure say eye Ghana emra ebo adwuma ho ban eye labor laws no was a 24-hour economy policy of the bano. Was a SAR policy no. It to me fall inside the labor laws. Into one to me because we 24-hour economy. Now I implement it. Abra a year embra a bo Ghana juma for bino on consider samrano. If you say emrano, I was say and also eti policy nasi. Into say ye no ye Ghana for onomoka say yati a ye di pakua almost sadi no. I make sure say 24-hour economy no. Eni menima na statia. Obi nka say ye tietia ne fa hodie so na ejuma all ye no ebi awaye ejuma bro time so and I said nyoma bia also wenya nti eno so policy document no e ya de bia aban we ombetena so 120 days no omodi hu dwuma a enche bia no omode baba bontene na 24-hour economy na sati and omo 24-hour secretariat eno so e wo ho a omo de tutu nyoma ekeka nyoma sie ni a kese omo pia bontene na se omo ti ahomemu a na se 24-hour economy no eno na ekọ na ejina ne na so now can be efa a 24-hour passport service and the oko a passport officer omunda and adwumi no ka say gidi omu bu adwuma chip embedded passport omu ye adwuma me no ka say 24-hour economy policy no ebi kura pastor ti bu adwuma oko passport officer omu print passport ye print and say print ya ka kire pastors no dey anointing oil good passport no say passport we dey sonko o dey anointing oil good so e be say nti okuja to black question ne nkofo gina ho a enwumbre me no ka say infifre eti omo a omo ye passport upon passport obeko omo twegu botom and the passport we are unko passport office in Koje 24-hour economy no aban way ama courier services companies are omutumi deliver passport omo no bebre wo fie wo address and omo ba be she wunsem John Mahama say within 4 months ade we nyina omaye osaka bibi fa DVLA omo a omo hwe car license so any car any insurance so se bi wo be insure car any car pomuden ni ade ni nyina no omo say and me no ka say DVLA for so run 24-hour the services are yaya backlog time na NDC mba power no obeko DVLA na documents a wose am for license omo car omunya omo roadworthy ni nyina parking go a no mo di hudwuma almost started 24-hour services here or DVLA courtesy the young man your friend Julius no and obeko oma collectible no so nyina amanfo nyina sa come document because omo bu adwuma no pay wie nwumbre ema omo sisem nti omo kura no so started DVLA 24-hour economy services no and also koso ho John Dramani Mahama eka bifa YE ho and because of 24-hour economy no omo companies belinki app na imbebu no a omo hye YE ase no omo de omo ma private companies and aban dwumaku a omo betimi support omo services no into YE for no so de inkrata esisie ni omo ne banks a sika kra wo munsem ene ankra dwumaku bi a omo de sika ba be so omo asene ma embebu no a Ghana ban pese omo de omo ma companies na sa companies no form in the name of 24-hour economy na yetu omo ka no ni nyina no John Mahama say within 120 days omo ye ni nyina into we Ghana ni na wo hwe na also tell say oka say Ghana Police Service omo run 24-hour police unit and the oko Ghana Police Service almost to nyoma police service no omo run 24 hours and the obeko police station bia near tutum and the bibia dru no Ghana Parliament President John Mahama say and the oko busa IGP na omo the police no juma 24-hour police no ekoso police unit omo ba betete omo juma throughout the night no John Mahama say 4 months pe juma wedini and then menoka say obiamba bontin beka say sa nyoma John Mahama kenyina enkoso eno kire say president no oka no kre now oshebo bi e position 24-hour wakan wasem wo so sa shebo sa board with this one obechirechirem
scrapping draconian taxes to alleviate hardship and ease the high cost of doing business. I promise to scrap the e-levy, the COVID levy, the 10% levy on bet winnings and the emissions levy within my first 90 days in office. These tax expenditure measures were central to our 2025 budget statement. On April 2nd, 2025, I signed several bills into law, including the Electronic Transfer Levy e-levy repeal bill 2025, the emissions levy repeal bill, and the betting tax. We have delivered on 3 of these 4 specific tax repeals as promised. The COVID levy has intricate linkages to the existing IMF program. As a value-added tax, we have agreed with our multilateral partners to include it in our overall VAT rationalization exercise that is scheduled for September this year. We've significantly exceeded our 120-day promises regarding overall tax reform by enacting other critical bills such as the Value Added Tax Amendment Bill, the Income Tax Amendment Bill, the removal of VAT on motor vehicles, the Public Financial Management Bill, the Growth and Sustainability Levy Act, the Earmarked Funds Capping and Realignment Bill, the Gold Board Bill, the Energy Sector Levy Bill, and the Petroleum Revenue Amendment Bill.
Joy FM, Joy News. I'm going to start recording way by. John Mahama can also share opposition. So taxes be another than quick for the Bawumia credit Japomo, Edia Gumuswana mo Breno, or share opposition says taxes in Obechum. And there in 120 days, 4 months per pepe. March yara John Mahama, AJ pen, and ucha sa taxes in Namu. And the Menoka say a year e-levy, ye chum, a year emission, a year smoke, and I say in Wissi tax, John Mahama chum. Bibi this a betting tax, John Mahama chum. Or share bo efa a year COVID tax no, and no, or say, and no, MPP are buying a shadako can IMF, a year deal, and I say agreement, a new mokoye, it was not buying any IMF what's nothing. Say, and no, Sebio, Ombesomotinasi, no omutumi free a year sa agreement him, not a bedding home, send a bear a buying bit with him. Into a also omudi hum koma by the end of this month, next month, no, ombe sa a year COVID, a year levy, no, every sa agreement, IMF for. Ekufuado ediko share sa agreement inti eno abegina eno ankasa na so na omotuma eden omotuma twanu inti nyoma 4 sebio o ka kire Ghana for say to abama na within 90 days obey no 120 days no ayama na abroso we twa 3 mu akabako na baako so wa share bo say omudi hu nkomo say eno so obeye firi ho John Dramani Mahama as we speak no ebo a o share Ghana no ayama na abroso 90 days no yes abodi nyina 120 days de aka nyina yambroso o ye de aka no we ene nyoma na o ka no brofuma nipa bebre ente ya ende besinde obi antumi ba abonten be kan kire Ghana for say John Mahama de oka so be no anye sanse wo nyina ye nitua ekoso eni tina MPP fo nya bibia nka o maka say an John Mahama de onka bibia enso John Mahama ni nyina waka no obi antumi be gina bibia nka say John Mahama asema o kan enim now John Mahama ekasa efa 120 days obedi president no nyoma bia waye.
The new Inspector General of Police has established a special task force. Investigations have been reopened and progress is being made. In the tragic murder of Ahmed Hussein Swale 6 years later, the police service have made an arrest and the suspect was arraigned before court and remanded. Investigations are also ongoing into the election 2020 Tishman South incident where 2 lives were lost. In Odododio, where 2 persons died, 3 individuals have been charged with conspiracy and murder and committed for trial at the High Court. In Ablikuma Central, where a military officer is alleged to have caused a death, the scene has been revisited and a request was made to the Chief of Army Staff for the release of the personnel involved to assist in investigations. For the tragic death of Silas Ulochame in Banda, the Attorney General's office under the previous administration had advised against prosecution due to lack of evidence. But I'm pleased to report that we have reopened the case based on actionable intelligence. In Doma West, where co-funding trial, while the other suspect is at large and is being pursued. In Savlugu, where efforts are still being made to find the assailant despite a lack of cooperation from witnesses. And concerning the January 31st, 2019, Ayawaso West, 18 persons suffered injury from individuals later identified as national security operatives. We will not let that matter die without justice being served to the victims.
President Mahama Ekasa Efa Nyoma, what make sure say, Wama IGP instructions say, Sa Nyoma no, Sa Edian crimes no, Ombie investigations, because the Nano Danko Kufuado, MPP for committed crimes when you na and omokataso. John Mahama say 120 days your buy was IGP no Emma in Sembe Brekoswa and the Emma Ghana for AD Yao Ewomumu. ye kubi ye say bi bra ye say bi life ebi mu di dem no John Mahama said bebre no wama IGP no ebi investigations ebi wo krampo na investigation ayesa ada enso wama IGP asore no e ma ni nyina no ye hwehwem Ahmed Swale eye nipa omuku Ahmed Swale no and dem no ka say John Mahama be di president ya in less than 90 days yetumi achi nipa ba ko na oka omomudi ewuo no homa and ba ko gina court ama mfihwemu ekoso ama court enso edi asem no election killings ayawa so eye techiman ye bo nipa tuo nipa bi omuwu no John Dramani Mahama eba power endi 4 months wamaye be investigations into eye techiman south election killings 2020 and 2024 killings no wamaye be investigations and the IGP edi hudwuma ododio nipa miense bia sebio omo eye ebo dwuma edi dwuma omo ku nipa bi no and wama IGP no asa bi asem na sa nipa no and yachi omo a yedi omasem Ablekuma Central so ewudi ekọ so during elections nipa bi efa ho ebo nipa bi apo ebo nipa bi tuo no eno so John Mahama say why instruct IGP e be investigations wo ho Doma West so eno so omo a omo di dwuma no investigations kọ so ema omo a sebio police hwe omo ho aka e de nwura ende police for eda ho etata omo a omo pe omo ache omo ede omo begina asem dibia eya Savlugu West no so eya sembia eno so yeku nipa bi wo ha John Mahama say Ghana Police Service CID ene IGP no ebi mu biem ende eye omo di sabone no sebio omo ni ehun sansem no witnesses no ebi mu pese sebio omo beba enim no police for ni omo di nkomo e wokokuom se na ebe ombenya kokuduro abebo ama hwehwemu akoso ma omo di sa adwuma no eye aban no aso mumu na ayawa so West Wagona eye Brian Champon oni double any azugumo enyina ka obutibo mu any other MPP eye killers ekobo nipa tuo ese nipa bi nan etata nipa ebo MPs asum no John Mahama say ende wa hye IGP no NCID officer say omumbia investigations no into on yeka say in less than 120 days no sa adwuma de we nyina ekoso enche ni nyina ye de nipa ba begina eye de eye court emo ebua omofo ewo sansem we hu John Dramani Mahama in some kind bebre na so ye Ghana ni na wo hwe me anadwo obabusa me say inti ade a wo ya John Mahama ye we nyina less than 120 days which is 4 months inti John Mahama ebedi president for 4 years John Mahama ejuma obedi na o say nyina eboa no because in the history of the Republic of Ghana yehu president wabedi Ghana so sebio in less than 4 months wait me am make sure say nyoma we nyina ebo ejuma ye nyina ye ni tua sebio yehu say ama Ghana no e fa ne ntoma pa efra in some bebre a John Mahama kan and then you bring se me kasa me koswa and the yenda ochina ye de aka ba be so but uhwe asem nyina na me bona tofa John Mahama a boy or share Ghana for okaso obedi so no 90% of sa ebono men oka say in less than 4 months we di sa ebono so we and a chese abai we they are ready and willing to serve the people. They are ready to make sure accountability takes lead in the governance style of John Mahama, and they will make sure people who committed crimes and it's a brand champion moi omudi udifu eni mambobo tuo no sanko for a year commission actually say was a choma investigations no at the end of the day omobeye masanko for nyina choma so John Mahama kasa e be sin there obiantumi ba ka say dia work no e yatro that means say president we president wa na adwene say ode no kure ebe kire Ghana ye nyina so ebe hia say ede no kure ebe tade chi na sebio dwumadia odi no yebeboa ama eye Ghana no abegina eye ne nan so ana ye nyina ye pe MPP be say Ghana pa nanso hope yenya hope yehu free John Mahama ho nyoma ekoso ene nchirechirima ode maye no ama mbebunu ne Ghana fo impenifo ne nkwara nyina enya gidie ewo oman we mu asenya gidie wo NDC mu enya gidie se wo se NDC tena so che for the next 42 years sene be ya sa nyoma we nyina ye betumi ni apepa oman nim ama oman no abe krogenma sebio nyoma akosu ye ama mpuntuo afa ne ntoma pa efra nti these are some of the things John Mahama ene kasa ye no oka ho asem now. There are a few stories be me pese me kan ho asem ansana sebio enyubre dwumadie no ye wie. It's got to do with nyoma bi a ekoso. In fact, MPP for astarte edi nyoma bi to Ghana for trim. Na nyoma nom de to Ghana for trim na o se hwe ni yi pa. From the day I yakoto aba John Mahama ebedi president, I am yet to see a video or and I say a voice NDC nibi or wabem onia bem atna TV so ana radio so I can openly say John Mahama episode ko tetem. Now MPP for the BB to Ghana for trim. Now, adia MPP for you know, na ya adwene mba ho. I think say because MPP for ehu say Jumadia NDC AD no kura omo ka kire Ghana for senia omo di mraso omo di constitution eye adwuma e make sure say Ghana atram ne ntoma pa efra ama sebio impuntu akoso no ama MPP for enya sebio eye ehu bi abeto omo soma and the aseme doma no every time omo benya opportunity to speak biano from their chairman to the last person in the MPP no aseme from ano na omudi to Ghana for team say John Mahama pese okote term. Now, since John Mahama be the president for the past 4 months, ye won't say John Mahama ako out of the constitution to do anything against your constitution. Ye won't say John Mahama aya adiebia sebio omwa omudi e mind bi so a ye from autocrats. Sebio wama obi achi obi so tuo. We use the constitution no we in so edi aye nyoma bi a eni se ode ye. Ever seen there, MPP as a political party from their chairman to the last person, Obia entimi njina baby anka say, John Mahama aya die we ya, eche say aya John Mahama, sebio ope say term edi. Now I say as time goes on, no, aya the NPP no, they are putting something in the heads of Ghanaians say, John Mahama peso di term, and it is beginning to look like say, they the MPP no, they believe say ejuma John Mahama no. Ghanaians at a point we will all come together and say I was say John Mahama ekote term because menti say John Mahama ejina baby ana NDC for ejina baby aka say ye pese John Mahama ekote term. The only people are omuka sa de ni to Ghana for team ema Ghana for busa say edie no mu jina so kasa asem no nyina ne say omo wu say MPP for mu say juma NDC AD eye ejuma pa John Mahama ebo no ebe ye din sem pempensuo bi beba sebio Ghana for beka say John Mahama enko tenase MPP for mu say senior John Mahama ebu man no say oman start anke kan semia impempenso bedu a Ghana for beto mu agu krom ayo ye kire aka say ye pese John Mahama toa so enti every single minute bia NPP benya opportunity to speak to Ghana for about why I ento abama omo no. They have started putting something in the heads of Ghanaians. And to be very fair with you, it is looking like MPP for Emma Ghana for Enya believe we say Ejuma John Mahama yeno he might deserve a third term because yetiano na yenkada NDC for ponkada obianko for maeda but I think says be MPP for here Ejuma John Mahama yeno omunim say mbre bi beba Ghana for including MPP ni NDC any Ghana for more Ghana nyina ebeja tum say John Mahama ko third term. Now asem nyina say John Mahama meni yetie Ghana odi esui say NDC for enka say John Mahama beko tetema adenti na MPP aye so glued to that issue say omukba abontiri de bia John Mahama beko tetem because me no say until the law is tested you wouldn't know what is actually in the law near to kromo ha near nim say Ghana ni bia aye Ghana ni until Madam Tokonu any Ekufu the Supreme Court ne beka kire ye say aye passport enye an idea ebetumi akire say we Ghana ni birth certificate entumi improve say we Ghana ni until obi call court eme be hu say sa na okuta birth certificate kura enkire say we Ghana ni sa na okuta passport enkire say we Ghana ni it is beginning to look like the NPP wants Ghanaians to test the system, test the court because emrebia ni Ghana ekire say obi ntumi nko court enko busemu say John Mahama di president a oluzi ye okofie na wasabe di president no sebio enye consecutive no John Mahama no owo ho kwan biem say also di president. Every Ghanaian has the right to go to court for interpretation the same way Ghana for be echo court for interpretation when it comes to yani as citizens of Ghana because na nipa ko bi na court echo Supreme Court. Remember Supreme Court they interpret the constitution, they interpret laws. Intimity hai anasa wutiwe. Sa saade ne wa adwemu sakrania. Ubetumi asore ko Supreme Court akobusa say John Mahama the president and oluzi ye and wasaba. Now ohwe constitution ma e kire say consecutively no e also with the president one. Now say di toaso ansa na woni hu kwai say wakodi president biom. Sesi John Mahama the president and oluzi ye and wasabe di. Inti na mrane kafa ho. Ghana ni bia with the right to ask that question in court. Ghana Nibia had the right to go to the Supreme Court to seek for interpretation because seeking of interpretation and who say and ukuta passport awunya Ghana ni or birth certificate to me prove so Ghanaian. So there is no wrong in anybody going to the Supreme Court to ask for interpretation in that. And I think say na yane yajini as Ghanaians, but the NPP as a political party, no, they have instilled something in our heads because yen yinani ni John Mahama obedi president 4 years no ko, but consistently for the past 4 months, no. Every time an NPP benya a power biya to speak, you know, they tell us say John Mahama will cut a term. Yeah, it is John Mahama so jina baby kasasem no. Ye wu anything John Mahama ya exercise we book constitution is wa sebio obeki to edi Ghana subium. It means say the NPP are seeing the good works of John Mahama. And they believe say even their own supporters in the future might turn against them and say Ejuma John Mahama abeye and nyoma wa ye atoto the ye no Ghana for ye pese ye nyina ye bo echidom ye tie hugu krom na ye kire say John Mahama also toaso but eno keke ntumi ma John Mahama toaso for a second term. We will need to go to the Supreme Court to seek interpretation because time na yate Ghana ha for over 63 years, you know. Na ye nim se ukuta passport eno nkwa ntumi nkyerɛ sɛ Ghana ni. Na ye nim se ukuta birth certificate eno nkwa ntumi nkyerɛ sɛ deɛ wo Ghana ni. So it means say that clause bi na ɛhyɛ constitution ma ɛkyerɛ sɛ consecutive also we did to so first and second. So bibi be hyɛntem a ye yɛsɛ saa aborɔfo no kyerɛ ase ɛwɔ Supreme Court. Na ma adwene ni hɔ until afenyo makin until Nana B until MPP for static cars and some way and no na ma adwene aba hɔ a mese da bi some way and some o se edi ho nkomo if you say e die na bema MPP sorry anopa ewia enwumbre a de bia no John Mahama person kotetem. We need to go to court and seek interpretation. We need to go and have clarification because John Mahama kura nya na abre so a imbre bi beduru a obi so beba a ebia samra no ya nya ho adwuma a ebedane ntokwa na ebedane abatros abetu ekoma a ye nananom sebio omuntumi entena mbom enti saa nyoma we a MPP direct ya adwene koso no. I think say it is proper we also listen to the NPP on when and why they think say John Mahama beko term. Now I don't believe say John Mahama betu be the nepe. It is only when the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana agrees to it say John Mahama betuma ko third term. Inti den OCA to prevent John Mahama from going for a third term MPP cano, I think we need to go to Supreme Court and seek interpretation whether John Mahama so when the president consecutively no does he have the right to go on or he does not have the right to have a second term. These are simple things and you see Debia Meka Messi assemble da assembly etwa ho didi assembly enkenya MPP na kofa third term assembly baya na mente say NDC ni bi raise issue say John Mahama will go for a third term. We need to go to court. We need to seek interpretation at the Supreme Court. We need to get to the bottom of it. As we speak now, no, I am happy said the NPP as a political party no edi bibi sa air to Ghana for trim because time na ekoto aba no na bibi sa na etrim until John Mahama winning power no and MPP for started the side and air to your team. In fact, Ghana for nyina ebusa enti John Mahama betuma ko biem. Enti John Mahama betuma ko biem. John Mahama betuma de pa kwa na John Mahama ultimate fa ne pe ensan ko biem. Eye yabra eye mra ehye ebo Ghana ho bra. Eno nkwa de betuma kire se John Mahama betuma ko biem na so ultimate ko biem. Because na me no woti ne anim se passport is not the only thing a ebe prove so oya Ghana ni. In fact, passport entumi nkyerɛ sɛ ɔyɛ Ghana ni. ID card entumi nkyerɛ sɛ ɔyɛ Ghana ni. Voters ID. Inti eno ne ebe hu ya anka nyina anka enim. Ende me no ka say so okuta passport it cannot say sɛ ɔyɛ Ghana ni. Ende me no ka say okuta birth certificate it cannot prove sɛ ɔyɛ Ghana ni. How will we know say John Mahama so person contest BMA, he has the right or he does not have the right? It is only through the Supreme Court. Inti I want to thank the NPP very well for bringing this matter up. Because as we go, no, we need to be shaping our democracy. We need to be correcting the wrongs. We need to be looking at things we are not paying attention to. I am very happy, said the MPP, every time they get opportunity to speak on Ghana's issue, they speak about John Mahama Pasoko third term. Because the Constitution part, I was here say, I bet you see and I said to me, see. I will say a seeking interpretation on that. And I would like to applaud the NPP for doing that. In fact, they should keep on letting Ghanaians know, say, John Mahama and Yobeko Tetem, Senyebeya will be forced to look into that part in our constitution. Because say, the boy, Ama, Sebio, Yebenya President, he would nullify this nation. I want to say a big thank you to MPP. Matina, I journalism, I radio, I editorials. It never crossed my mind to say, John Mahama nyobeko term. But me, na me say constitution, no, it say it should be consecutive. Right now, no, it has not been consecutive. Right now, I don't understand consecutive. You also do not understand consecutive. The context at which it was used. We need to go to the Supreme Court to explain to us what consecutive means. Whether John Mahama has the chance to go again or no, because the Constitution frowns on that. These are things that I want to honestly come out and thank the NPP for bringing our attention to that. Afenyomakin, for once, I will applaud you for directing our mind to such things. We need to get to the bottom of it. We all need to come together and start asking questions, because NPP actually so NDC ebi no more plan o man can share that until NPP my idea no until we need to start asking questions. We need to start questioning the constitution. We need to question the Supreme Court. They need to interpret that part of the constitution. Send we will live in harmony. These are very, very important things. We have to stay together and also make sure say so we need to go to Supreme Court and seek interpretation. And I'm very happy say NPP will raise the issue. It is good. And they have many say, they took Ghana for Tima. It is becoming something that Ghana for have started believing in it. Ghana for no mujin say John Mahama ye jumapa na nipa we de ye manager no kwa wan ebetuma to aso no e say Ghana for no enya idea say there is something that NPP e kan nyansa wo ma ye nyina ebetuma adwene ho. Until we are very grateful to the NPP. It does not mean say you could seek for interpretation. It will go in favor of John Mahama continuing. We want to know what exactly the interpretation means. Senior, at the end of the day, and the yabe say a passport, an ID, and a birth certificate does not prove that you are Ghanaian. This is simple. And I will encourage the NPP to keep speaking on that. I will encourage the NPP to keep speaking on that matter. Every single day they get the opportunity, they need to speak on the matter, say, John Mahama Pesoko Tetem, because we need to know whether he can go or he cannot go. And as an opposition party, this is their job, and I'm happy they are doing their job, because we don't want anybody to abuse the Constitution. Every single thing we do as a people, as citizens, we need to stick or stay within the Constitution. And I am happy the opposition is doing its job. Into every single person unim MPPD let them understand, say we are happy. They should keep on raising that issue. In fact, Ghanaians need to understand. Questions, answers. So we can move forward. So the MPP, we really applaud you, because majority of us, this escaped us. There are so many people Ghana and say, hey, John Mahama be 4 years now. Kwa a better than the Atwanyama way so. Inti sanko foni buta say, hey, and you betuma your constitution, ebe John Mahama betuma to aso, and Kenya MPP and Kenim. San Kenya MPP and Kasadi and cross ya da. Inti I would like to applaud the NPP. Every single day they have a press conference. They should talk about John Mahama going third term. Send a beko Ghana for team. Omo John Mahama. Omo yemushisho say, hey, ena John Mahama. And told to me ko yanko Supreme Court enko busa say no kreso betuma kwa so to me kono. Ehia. See a benya sign interpretation from the Supreme Court, and no one a bit where the final nail on this issue at NPP raising. I really want to say thank you very much to the NPP. We really applaud you for doing this. That is the job of the opposition. You always look out for the people. You always look out for problems in the Constitution. You point them out, and then we as citizens, we come together and to deal with such matters. For once, I'll say thank you to the NPP for bringing this issue of John Mahama Bekubium, John Mahama Enkubium. But the only place that we can get an answer is the Supreme Court. So in the future, we will all go to the Supreme Court and seek interpretation.